So here you go. Okay, I'll write down. Property is instance. This is means here property. Property. So in place of work object, you can see this definition. Work object is instance of class group. Work object stores into a table which is mapped to instance class or class group. Similarly, property is instance of, what is the class name? Rule obj property. So what does this statement means to us? So property gets stored into a table. What is the table? Which is mapped to the class. What is the class name? Rule obj property. That is the meaning of the statement. So property is instance of class rule obj property. Meaning that, so how many properties I created here? Around 6 properties I have created. Okay, around 6 properties I created. Okay, all these properties, age, date of birth, email ID, all these properties. I'm not talking about runtime. Here in the environment, when I right click, create, save, then it will store into a table. Which table? The table mapped to the class rule obj property. When I click on this link, age, property is open, right? So it is open means it should have been stored in somewhere, correct? That is where it got stored in rule obj property table. See, here you go. Rule obj property, right? This is the class. You can access all these classes. Right click, and just for your information, go to definition, scroll down, do what? Test connection. Means every property that we create in Pega is going to get stored into a table by name pr4 underscore rule underscore property. What is the table name? pr4 under. This table is mapped to which class? Rule obj property. Similarly, I will tell you one more statement. You tell me. Okay. Section is instance of class. What is the class? Rule HTML section. Section is instance of class rule HTML section. Correct? Now you tell me this statement, elaborate this statement just like this. So sections, the sections we get create stores into a table which is mapped to class. What is the class name? Rule HTML section. How do I know which table is mapped to the class rule HTML section? How do we find out that? Yes, test connection. You go to rule HTML section class, definition, and test connection to table. Then it will show the respective table name. Okay, that must be something like pr4 underscore rule underscore section, like that. Okay. Similarly, every rule we create in Pega, every rule. Flow action is instance of class rule obj flow action. Flow is instance of class rule obj flow. Every rule that we create here, every rule you see here will get stored into one table in the backend. So whatever we see on Pega environment, everything is just a dynamically generated one. Actually, where it is stored? It is stored into tables. So learning Pega means knowing about Pega rules process commanders database. Pega is all about its database. That's it. You should know what is there in the database. You don't need to do any queries to retrieve and all, but it is the knowledge that you have, what data is present in which tables, what are the important columns of that particular table which we might be using during our development process. So work object stores into work table, and there are 2 columns in that table. What are those columns? Main columns, PYID, which stores work object ID, and the next column is PZPV stream, which stores work objects data, means transaction data entirely. Apart from the regular data, so when it is created, who created it, who updated last, and who modified last, all this information will be available in 4 different columns. What are those columns? Px create date time, Px update date time, Px create operator, Px update operator. Like this columns will be there. So we should know about all these columns and its purpose. Then we can make use of it at the time of practice. I mean like development. So this is what we have discussed yesterday, and additionally I have given you some additional explanation about points which have ignored reading in the past. Now if you go back and read, you need to understand that point elaboratively with respect to its storage. Okay, so now let's keep it aside, and next topic that we are going to discuss about is clipboard. What is the next topic? So these are the coming topics: clipboard, page, and then data class. These are the topics that we are going to discuss going forward. Okay, clear everyone? So now clipboard, next topic. Look at here now. So let's initiate a transaction by executing a flow. I am going to go to flow here, begin insurance and actions, and then run. So when you run this, here you go. So this is what we have got the screen displayed, and here we can enter some data. Okay, as part of your transaction model, this data I am entering. Okay, and here you go now. Submit this data. So now this data will get stored into work table. It is going to get stored into which table? Work table. So in the work table, it will store where the columns are PYID and PZPV stream. PYID is work object ID. So now how this data is going to flow from PRPC environment to database. So PRPC environment data is there. The moment we click on submit, data is been stored into table. So it has been stored into table, meaning that there should be some queries that should have been running internally, correct? See, generally, if you design a transaction model like this, maybe in .NET or Java or CPP anywhere, after you click on submit, what action to be done and what queries to be generated, what values to be passed to queries, and open the database connection and then hit the query to the respective table in the database. All this necessary coding you have to write as a developer. Okay, but here we have seen that we did not write any such coding. We did not write any coding preparing queries and all, but still we are experiencing to see that the data is getting stored. That means queries are getting generated automatically internally. Data is also getting passed internally automatically to queries. Okay, that is what automation of program. Automation of program means you don't need to write the program. Program will get generated automatically as per the actions that you perform. That's how PRPC tool has been designed. Now here you go. So this is what you have submitted the data, and the data which we submit is going to go from PRPC environment to its table. In between, there is a temporary storage place called clipboard. What is the temporary storage place? Clipboard. A temporary storage place clipboard will be there. I will show you. Okay, so here you go now. Okay, so here you go. So this is PRPC environment. This is PRPC environment, and here it is table where the data is going to get stored. This is PRPC environment and this is table. This column, if you can see PYID, this is PZPV stream. Here it is storing work object ID value. Here it is storing work object data in block form. So from PRPC environment, data is not going directly into table. So from PRPC, data is going to clipboard, and from clipboard the data will be taken to tables. This is how the data will flow. So clipboard here is a temporary storage place which holds data that is there on PRPC environment. See here, how to access clipboard I will show you first. Okay, I'll tell you slowly one by one. Just look at here. At the very bottom of the screen, here you have an icon like an examination pad. So this is called as clipboard. Okay, click on this clipboard icon. It will open the clipboard icon. Here you can see thread. What is the thread number? C-67015. Is that the work object that I have here? Okay, that means this contains the details about the work object. Scroll down. So I know where it is available. I'll directly show you. Here you go. Click on this. So what is this called as? Clipboard page, PY work page. What is the page name? PY work page. I'll explain you what is the page in some time. And here you can see properties plus values. Value may or may not be there. Value may be, if you assign, value will be there. If you don't assign, value will not be there. You can see this is alphabetically ordered. Age, date of birth, and email ID, first name, gender, last name, phone number. And if you scroll down, here you can see PX create date time is there, PX create operator, PX update date time is there at the bottom here, and PX update operator. So all the data, whatever that you have in table, you have column names, correct? Exactly the same names here we have for properties. So in PRPC, it is a thumb rule that if you know property name, okay, automatically you can say column name because both will be same all the time. If you know table and column names you know in a table, then what about property names? Same names. If I tell you this is a column name in table and ask you what is property name, what will be property name? Property name will be same. And if you know property name and if I ask you column name, then same. So you don't need to bother about column names and property names. Netherlands adutadu a property ఏంటని. Night out, huh? Okay. So just if you want to wash your, yes, go and wash. Okay. So here you go now and scroll down. See here. Oh, I'm sorry. Not here. This property. Here you go now. What is the property name? PYID. What is the column name? PYID. PYID is a property which is holding C-67015. Work object ID value gets assigned to one property. See, if I click on this property, just for your information, okay, see here, this property is already there in Pega. In which class it is there? Now you need to understand the reason why your transaction class must be inheriting from Workdash. What is the reason? PRPC is using so many properties internally from Workdash. If it has to use the properties from some class, definitely that class must be in the inheritance, correct? I want to use properties from someone, right? So they must be related to me. Otherwise, I cannot use, correct? So if I am using in the transaction class, process command is using PX create date time, PX update date time, PX create operator, PX update operator, PYID. All these properties it is using OOTP properties. Where these properties are available, I did not create for sure, but it must be there in PRPC, correct? So if it is there in PRPC and during my transaction processing, if it is being used, that must be a parent class, correct? So that is the reason why Pega always transaction class will inherit from Workdash, because the transaction will use the properties from Workdash. Okay, everyone clear? Workdash or Workdash cover dash? Any child class Workdash is also okay. So here you go now. See, your clipboard is going to hold properties and values. What does the clipboard hold? Ultimately, properties plus values, all that you can find out. Especially, where are you finding out these things? You're finding out on clipboard on a page. What is the name of the page? PY work page. This is thumb rule. All the time, work object data will be available on clipboard. I'll ask you, what is the page name? No second thought. All the time, same page. What is the page name? PY work page. Work class, work object, work page, work table. Understand, everyone clear? In the work class, work object gets created. Work object data will be available on clipboard on work page. Data will get stored into table into work table. Make sense, everyone? So py work page is the page on which we can find work object data, entire data. Okay, everyone clear? All the time this is same. Okay, if I create one more work object, see here, I'm going to close this and actions and then run. Okay, just I'm going to enter some information here. And here you go. And submit this. This data also should go to clipboard first. From clipboard, it should go to table. Go to clipboard now. C7016 has py workbench. Data is there. Okay. And now, if you scroll this thread, what is that you are seeing? C7016. C7015 is also there, right? If you want to see that, click on this and C7015. C7015 will have py workbench. This py work page is related to C7015. That py work page related to C7. So clipboard has a clear segregation of information for each thing. See how long it will be available on clipboard. Let me close the clipboard once. I am closing C7015 tab here. In PRPC environment, C7015 is not open. Now you go to clipboard. Do you find C7015 here? But it is there in table. It is there in table SR. So table is permanent storage. Clipboard is temporary storage. How long the data will be available on clipboard? As long as that is open on PRPC environment. Anything which is open on PRPC environment, definitely that must be there on clipboard. Let me tell you one thing. See, everything that you see in PRPC environment here, Dev Studio, application, this menu related data, this data, and this flow related information, work object related information, left tree, and everything that you see on PRPC environment is just a reflection. Reflection of what? Clipboard. Reflection of clipboard. That means without having data on clipboard, you cannot see it on PRPC environment. Okay, you are there. You are standing in front of a mirror. You can see yourself in the mirror. You just move out of the mirror, then you don't see yourself there, correct? So as long as you are standing in front, you will be there in the mirror, correct? As long as it is there in the clipboard, it will show in a mirror in HTML format. This is mirror, PRPC. So entire Pega environment is dynamic. It is not static environment. Everything, each and every point you see on Pega PRPC environment is loaded when the screen is loading. Screen is loading. It has taken from database to clipboard. Whatever is there on clipboard is being showing upon the PRPC environment. So what is the permanent storage? PRPC clipboard database. Which is permanent storage? Database. Anything, any action you do on PRPC will reflect into database. Later point of time, you need to bring it back. So from PRPC, it will go to clipboard. Clipboard, it will go to database. Again, if later point, if you are retrieving from database, it will come to clipboard. From clipboard, it will show in the UI. Everyone clear? So that means if you have data on clipboard and you open it on PRPC environment, it will be shown.
When from the clipboard the data is transferred to the database, then the data is used to be encrypted, right?
See, data will store into table in an encrypted format. What is the format? Blob, binary, large objects. You retrieve it. It will come to clipboard. Clipboard format is again different. This is HTML format. Whatever you see on PRPC environment is what? HTML in browser is displayed like a normal readable format, right? Clipboard format is different. I will tell you about clipboard in detail now. So clipboard is a temporary storage place between PRPC environment and its role base. Database, we are calling it as role base. So clipboard is temporary storage between PRPC environment and its role base. Clipboard not only in Pega, you might have seen in your phone also. When you copy phone number in your phone, you will see a message, copy it, phone number copied to clipboard. In your laptop, if you copy a folder, you go to destination and paste it, it will be copied from clipboard. So clipboard and then taken into your destination folder. So clipboard is everywhere. It is needed in all and all softwares. So clipboard is a temporary storage place between PRPC environment and its role base. Data will go from PRPC environment to clipboard and from clipboard to table, rule base. Rule base to clipboard, reverse also same. Rule base to clipboard. After clipboard, you may display in UI. Okay. UI is HTML format. Database is tables format. And what about clipboard format? We are now going to discuss about the same. So let me open one work object which we have created so far. So work object data will always be available on clipboard on a page called system created page. System will automatically create that page by name py work page. What is the name? Py work page. Now you see. Yeah, if you are asking something, please unmute and ask. Otherwise, please be on mute. And here you go now. So clipboard contains data, correct? In which format? In the form of pages. In the form of pages. See here, if I click on this, it says clipboard page by name, some name. Second page, third page, like that. N number of pages are there, out of which the page that we are focusing on is py work page. What is the page? Py work page. Clipboard contains data in the form of pages. Just a simple example. Suppose we have a notice board, correct? On the notice board, we need to write the data. Data is notice information. I want to write 5 different notices. How do I write it? Each notice I will write on one paper. Take this paper and pin it on the notice board, correct? So that notice board is clipboard. Each paper that you have on notice board is one page. The content is property and value. Okay, value may or may not be there. So this is what a clipboard structure. Clipboard contains data onto its pages. Onto its pages. So entirely clipboard is going to have pages. Go to the page. On the page, you will see properties plus values. Values are optional. If it has value, it will be there. Otherwise, no value. Okay. Now you see, py work page contains respective properties and values for runtime. So now, what is a page? Okay, we understand clipboard is intermediate temporary storage place between PRPC and environment and its role base. Generally, people call it as debugging tool. Clipboard is debugging tool. We'll come to the definition debugging later. Okay, but as of now, by our understanding, clipboard is a temporary storage place between PRPC environment and its role base. It holds the information in the form of pages. Page contains properties and values. From that, what is the definition you can say for page? What is the definition we can say? How do you define a page? Page contains properties plus optionally values, right? It contains properties. Page is collection of properties. Page is what? Collection of properties. Clipboard is collection of pages. That is just for our information. Clipboard is collection of pages, not a real definition. Just what we are seeing, we are just realizing for our better understanding. Okay. So page is collection of properties. So no, clipboard is not instance of page. Instance means it's an entity. So clipboard is a virtual storage place, temporary storage place. Okay, now you see. So page holds, what does it holds? Properties. One page is going to hold properties. Which properties it will hold? See, there are so many classes in Pega. So many properties are there in different classes. If I have a page, which class properties it holds? That is what I am going to explain. You know, this is important. Look at here now. I'll simply write down MERC. There is a class called MERC, organization class. Imagine it has properties like first name, last name. There is another class called simply by name vehicle. What is the class name? Vehicle. So win. vehicle identification number and company. Now I am writing a page. Page holds properties, correct? Page 1. Page 1 is holding VIN and company properties only. Okay. Now this page 1 is holding VIN and company properties. What about first name, last name? It is not holding. So page can hold properties, okay. So how does the system knows which properties to be held on the page? This properties or this properties, I'll tell you. Look at here. So go to clipboard. Beside page name, beside each page name on clipboard, in the braces, you will see a class name. What do you see? Class name. Every page that is there is going to point, means refer to a class. This page will point to one class. So now you see here, go to Notepad, page 1, right? Page 1 referring to a class. What is the class? Vehicle, for example. Page 1 is referring to which class? Vehicle. Now page 1 can hold properties, right? Which properties page 1 can hold? VIN, company. So every page is going to point to a class, refer to a class. The page can hold properties of its reference class. Page can hold properties of its reference class. For example, I write page 2. Page 2, I said it is holding first name, last name. Now you could tell me, page 2 must refer to some class, right? What is the class for which page 2 can refer to? MERC. How did you say that? Based on the fact that page 2 is holding first name, last name. First name, last name are there in class MERC. So page 2 must be referring to MERC class. A page can hold properties of its reference class. Page refers to a class, holds the properties of its reference class. Everyone clear? And for example, you see here, under MERC, we have one child class. Let's say, for example, work class directly, for example. This is holding age, gender. Age, gender. Now I am writing a page by name. I am writing a page. Page 3. Page 3 refers to the class MERC work. What are the properties page 3 can hold? Age it can hold, gender it can hold, correct? It can also hold first name. How come it can also hold first name, last name? That is parent class. It can hold properties of its reference class. Also it can access parent class, all that properties also it can access. So here you go. As part of our transaction model, PY workpage has transaction execution, PY workpage got created. It is holding the properties, first name, last name and all. Where these properties are there? Organization class. But this page is referring to which class? MERC, Mercury A, work. So organization class, is it parent class or work class? Yes or no? In the pattern inheritance class. So it can hold the properties of its class as well as parent class. Everyone clear? PYID is from work dash cover dash. PYID is being held on PY work page, referring to work class. For your implementation work class, parent class is framework work class. For framework work class, what is the direct parent? Work dash cover dash. So it is able to hold the property PYID because that is from the reference class and its parent class. Understand everyone clear? So page is, what is the definition of a page as of now? Page holds properties and page refers to a class. Page refers to a class. Which properties it can hold? It can hold the properties of its reference class. It can hold the properties of reference class. Now I will ask you one question again. Here, let me ask. Can page 1 hold first name, last name properties? Page 1. Page first name, last name, where these are available? MERC class. Look at this definition of page 1. Can page 1 hold first name, last name? No. It can hold only VIN and company because first name, last name are not in the same class of its reference, not in the parent class of its reference. There is no relation I have defined here between MERC and vehicle as of now. Everyone clear? So this is just for your information about page. We will discuss more about pages now. Okay. That is not needed now, because I just wanted to show you a high level single class only. Direct parent and all will discuss it. Okay. Now, clipboard is temporary storage place between PRP's environment and its role base. It holds the data that is flowing at that moment. Okay. Anything that is open on PRP's environment will be there on clipboard for sure. Clipboard contains data in the form of pages. Page contains properties. Page refers to a class, holds the properties of reference class, and parent class is also okay. Clear, everyone? These are the points we discussed about page. We will discuss more about pages. Before that, we will jump on to next topic. What is the next topic? Classes. What is the next topic? Classes. So we are going to create some one screen, and we are going to experience to see one issue, and we are going to find out the solution for the issue. Okay, how we are going to find out and all, I will explain it. Look at here now. See, there are some best practices that we need to follow while you are creating application, transaction model designing and all. I created properties. What are the properties? First name, last name, age, gender, date of birth, like this I created. These properties I have used in order to collect the basic information related to a customer of my insurance company. For my insurance company, any customer who is going to apply for insurance, I want to collect their data. That's why I created properties. See, anytime if you are designing your application, if you are creating any entity today, that should be reusable. That should be reusable. That is always the best practice to do. Okay. See, similarly, if you want to do something tomorrow, you should not again create from the scratch. You must be reusing it. You should not be creating again from the page and section. Section is UI design. Page is holding data. Okay. Now you see here. So here, the properties which I have created, first name, last name, I created in order to collect the basic information related to customer. This is my transaction model as of now. What is my transaction model as of now? Collecting customer data. Business is giving you one more requirement. After this is completed, business is saying that we want to collect. After this screen is submitted, the work object should go to next screen. Second screen should be collecting the details about analyst. There will be an analyst. He has to perform a task. We wanted to collect the details of analyst who is going to work on this particular work object further. So analyst will have his first name, last name, date of birth, all that, right? Just a high level I'm talking about. Analyst details, if you want to collect, you need to design a form. That form also will have first name, last name and all. So now, do I already have those properties, first name and last name, or should I create once again? We already have first name, last name properties. No need to create from the scratch once again. Suppose if I create one more time, that means redundantly you are doing the same task again. Similar task you are doing again and again. Okay. That is going to be cost effective. Here you go now. I have all the properties here. I will create one section, separate section I am creating. What is the section name? So here you go, analyst details. What is that? Analyst details. So explaining through this example will be just we are going to see our experience to see one problem here. Okay, I am creating a section by name analyst section. Okay, I will convert to full section editor and add the properties. Can I drag and drop the properties directly? First name, last name. Okay, let's say age. So here also it is showing first name, last name. To differentiate this screen from the other one, I am going to change the labels of these controls. Properties I am using same. Label, I am changing it to analyst first name. What is that? Label only. Label I am changing it to analyst first name. You can change the label like this. Analyst last name. Analyst age. Okay. Whenever this screen is being accessed, it has to collect the details of analyst. In the same transaction, business is asking, warning you can ignore. I'm going to create flow action as usual process. Create process flow action. And here you go now. What is the name of the flow action I can give? Analyst details flow action. Analyst details flow action. And this flow action contains section of analyst section. Okay. Next flow I don't need to create. Already flow is there. Within the same transaction as a second screen, you have to include it. Correct? Go to the palette, get an assignment sheet. Just you don't need to do this example while you are practicing. This I am doing just to explain you. Okay. That's why I'm not taking any screenshots. This new assignment, I have connected it accordingly, just for instance. And here you go, analyst details. Correct? Analyst details. I will call the flow action assignment shapes outward connector. Analyst details flow action. Now two screens are using same properties in the same transaction. Okay, because I don't want to recreate again and again the same properties. Correct? So let me run the transaction. So before we run it, I will just ask you one simple question. Okay, we have one variable. Okay, let's say variable name is the variable x. X variable is holding the value, simple mathematical expression. X is equal to 10. You have done it step 1. And you have written some steps here. Down below, same property you are using, x. What is the value of x now? If you are using it simply, what is its value? 10 only. This is a display one. I'm talking about this as a display one. Suppose if I say x is equal to 15, further I am doing x is equal to 15. Now what is the value of x? 15. What about 10? What about 10? 10 is there or not there? It is not there. What happened to 10?
Overrides
This
value.
overridden. So the value of x, what is the value of x now? If you are
15.
using,
Okay.
if you are using it anywhere, it is showing whatever the value it contains so far. Now again, if I have to display x, I would have written display x like this. What is its value? Previously 10. Now what is the value? 15 will be displayed, correct? So same variable, if you are using in the downstream somewhere within the single execution, whatever the previous value is there, that will be shown. If you change the value now, previous value is gone, correct? Now you see the same practice. I'm going to enter customer details. This is customer details. First name, last name. Okay, age. These three I have used, remaining I did not use. So remaining I am not touching, just for our better understanding. To quickly design, I have used only few properties. So analyst first name is coming as same as customer first name. How come? What is the reason for this? Actually, I am expecting it to be empty to accept some new data. At the end, I want to see both data. That is my expectation as a business. But given I have already properties available with me, I did not create once again. I used the same properties as a best practice in the same transaction model. So this is initially I had set some values to properties, submitted. And now in the second user interface, it is displaying the old values. Now I change the old values to some new values. Okay. And then submit. What about previous data? Will it be there or will not be there?
It will override.
It will override. What is the why it is getting overridden? Same properties I am using. Now you go to clipboard. Go to here. First name, last name are there. latest data. What about old data? It is gone. So you have created properties here in the work class or parent class or work class. You can make use of those properties in transaction only for one purpose. Two different purposes I want to use, even though similar purpose. Two different purposes I wanted to make use of one set of properties I cannot use. What is the problem? What is the reason? Because same properties, if you are using again in the transaction, what will happen? Old data, it will show you change it, old data will be gone, new data will be available. But I want both data. I want customer details, I want analyst details separately being collected. But condition is you should not recreate the properties again and again. You should not recreate again and again. Suppose if I have to collect the data separately, what should I do? I have to create one more set of properties. Property name should be analyst first name, analyst last name, property itself, new property, analyst first name, analyst last name. Like that, 7 more properties if I create, I use the same 7 more properties, then I will see 14 properties on UI. First name is customer first name. Analyst first name is analyst first name. Tomorrow you got one more requirement. That is, create a screen to capture the basic information related to insurance rater. Rater details you want to collect. Rater means who calculates premium. Rater data you want to collect. Rater also will have first name, last name, all this, right? You need to create 7 more properties. Rater first name, rater last name. You are doing the same task redundantly. That is not a best practice. Now, the solution which we are expecting is, I want only one set, but that should be multi-purpose useful. That should be what? Useful for multi-purpose. That is what we would like to achieve. You understand the problem? So now we have to find out the solution. See, achieving the solution is not possible as long as you have the properties created in the transaction classes. Transaction class means work class, parent class or work class, parent class or work class. Anywhere if you create, you cannot use those properties for multi-purpose. Creating properties in the work class or creating properties in division class, creating properties directly in organization class, which you want to use for multi-purpose, you will not be able to achieve it. You will not be able to achieve it. This is not at all a good practice. Then why did we do this? We don't know anything. We are zero in Pega. We wanted to start learning somewhere. This is a basic fundamental learning. Okay. I want to know how to right click and create properties and all. But whatever we have done so far is, it is not a best practice. Why the practice has failed as a best practice? I'm able to use it, but multi-purpose I am not able to use it. Now I want to achieve that multi-purpose reusability. Means same 7 properties I should be able to use for collecting the data of customer, collecting the data of manager, collecting the data of analyst, collecting the data of director, collecting the data of anyone who comes in future. I don't want to recreate again and again. But all this data should be segregated on clipboard and all the data should be available on clipboard. Nothing should be overridden. This is what I want to achieve. This can be achieved this way. See here. Okay, so here you go now. So here I'm going to draw some class names and all. Okay, just look at here. Okay, what is the class name? MERC Mercury A auto hyphen. I am creating work class, correct? There is a class called work. Okay, here you go. I will write down, otherwise top to bottom. MERC Mercury A, what else? Work. This is top to bottom. Suppose if I have a first name property here and I have last name property here and age property here. Okay. And now in the work class, I am creating one section, customer details section. Will I be able to access these properties, first name, last name? What else? Will I be able to access it or not?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, I will be able to access it. This is possible. This is possible. Correct? Now I will draw something else. Now I am going to give you this connection. These classes are connected. I have one more class here. Okay, I'll draw this here at a distance. Data. Okay, now this data is the class coming after this Mercury A. Possible or not possible? Parallel to work I am creating. One more class I am creating. This is called a data class. Is there any inheritance relation between work and data? No, it is separate class, non-inherited class. Under this, I can have one more class, right? Yes or no? I'm just trying to draw some tree structure, okay? Now, imagine there is a class called person. What is the class name? Person. So, person class has properties. What are the properties that it has? I'll tell you. First name. In short, I am writing. Last name, age, gender. This age is different, that age is different. Otherwise, I'll write only gender. Otherwise, you'll get confused. That properties. Okay, I will take it to Notepad. Hold on. Okay, now you see here. There is a class by name person. So now I am creating one section here, customer detail section, correct? So let's say customer detail section. If I create, can I access the properties FN, LN, gender here into the customer detail section? Is it possible? It is not possible. What is the reason? It is been non-inherited, correct? Non-inherited class, you cannot access it. Okay, now you see. You understand this inheritance concept, right? Now what am I going to do is, I am going to remove all this. For your better understanding, this one is over. You understand first name, last name in the parent classes can be accessed into section, that is okay. Now I want to access these properties here into a section. How am I going to access? I will tell you. What am I going to create here is, I am going to create a page. What is that I am going to create? Customer page. By name what? Customer page. Page should refer to a class, right? It will refer to the class MERC, Mercury A, data, person. Is that the navigation of the class? Yes or no? Is that the class that where you have properties? Yes or no? Now, can this customer page access the properties of first name and last name? Will come here or not? FN will be here, LN will be here, gender will be here. Everyone clear? Now I am creating one section. What is the section name? Customer details SEC. I cannot access first name, last name directly, but I can access through page like this. Cust page dot FN, cust page dot LN, cust page dot gender. Clear everyone? Now this will come under PY work page, you know, right? Under PY work page, you'll see cust page. On that you'll see first name, last name, gender. Next, look at here now. Furthermore, now I am creating one more page. This is section, right? For our better understanding, I'm writing this is section 1. Okay, now I am creating another page called analyst page. What is that? Analyst page. Referring to which class? MERC, Mercury A, data, person. I am creating like this. I'm creating like this. One more page I created. Now this page also holds the details of properties, yes or no? FN, LN, gender. It can hold FN, LN, gender. Yes, clear everyone? Where is the scroll bar? Scroll bar is not coming. The scroll bar should be added. Right?
It is the frame.
Give me one minute. I'm expecting a scroll bar here. Oh, I think within this scroll bar will not come. Okay, what is that page name? Analyst page will have first name, will have last name, and will have just I need a cursor. Okay, anyhow, I'm struggling to get the scroll bar. Okay, so first name, last name will be there. Select all data and reduce. Okay, size I will reduce. That is also, oh, okay, maybe here you. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, you can see the scroll bar now, right? So analyst, this one will be there, and what else will be there? Gender. Okay, all this will be accessible to this page. Now I will create one more section. What is the section name? Analyst details section. This is section 2, screen 2. Okay, so here what I can do? Analyst details. This is a section rule. Okay, you understand anyhow. Now this section, can I access the properties FN, LN, gender? How do I access?
Analyst page
Analyst
dot
page dot FN, analyst page dot LN, analyst page dot gender. See here, one set of properties being reused for multi-purpose now. What is the purpose? Customer details, analyst details. Tomorrow you got one more requirement saying that please collect the details of manager. What do you need to do now? You create one page, manager, referring to same class, person. Person is a generic one. Person can be customer, person can be manager, person can be analyst, person can be director, person can be rater, person can be customer support team, anything. So like this, one time you create properties and use it for multi-purpose. How you can achieve it? By using pages. That is the advantage of using page. That is the purpose of page. Page holds properties. That is a very basic thing. Okay. Page holds properties of its reference class. What is the advantage of using pages in Pega? You can create multiple pages referring to same class, different pages. Same set of properties will be reused with different reference for multi-purpose. So page provides multi-purpose accessibility to properties. Not only properties, everything, but as of now we are discussing about properties. So what is the advantage of page? Why we need to create page? Page you create for multi-purpose accessibility, and that too. See, if the properties are there in the same class, you don't need a page to access, right? Properties are there in non-inherited classes. How do I access that? Anything which is available in non-inherited class, thumb rule, I want to access into transaction class. How do I access? By using page. As of now, we are discussing about properties. The properties of non-inherited class, you can access into transaction class. With respect to transaction class, that is not at all in the inheritance, correct? So non-inherited class properties you can access by using pages. Accessing by using pages is an advantage. You will access the same properties again and again with different page references for multi-purpose. Okay, your clipboard structure for this screen is going to be like this. PY work page. Under that, I will write down the clipboard structure also. PY work page. Under that, you will be getting customer. What is the page name? Cust page or customer page? Cust page. On the cust page, you will see FN, LN, gender. You will see this right over. Analyst page. You will see analyst page. On analyst page, what do you find? FN, LN, and gender. These properties. Like this, clipboard will have now each data segregated separately. So this is going to refer to person class, Just I am writing in short. What is the class? Data person. And this is going to refer to which class? Data person. Before data, there is a this one. What is that? MERC Mercury is there. Just I am writing in short. Clipboard also have a neat, clear, segregated structure. Go to PY work page, expand it. You'll see cust page. Click on cust page. You'll see all the properties of customer separately. Click on analyst page. You'll see all properties separately. All this will come under which page? Inside PY work page only. Everything will be there. Transaction. So this is the advantage of working with pages. So the practice which we have done so far is not a best practice. We would have created properties in non-inherited class and accessed into our transaction class by using page. That is a best practice all the time. This is one interview question. Directly fresher question, fresher interview question. So given a requirement, you have to create some properties. Where do you create? Where do you create? Data classes. I will explain about data classes tomorrow. We have already data classes provided by Pega. Is there? This I am going to show you tomorrow. So today I have explained about clipboard. I explained about page. Page is referring to a class holds the properties of the reference class. Usually we create pages to access the properties of non-inherited class. Why you need to create properties in non-inherited? Why don't you create in the same classes? Because I want to access the properties for multi-purpose to create multiple pages referring to non-inherited class. So creating properties all the time into non-inherited classes is best practice, and access them into transaction class by using different page references so that you get multi-purpose accessibility. Understand? Everyone clear online? Every one of you, are you clear?
Yes.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
602, right? What is this? John 24. 602. This is one diagram to download. Where is it? Okay. Next, I have to attach documents, right? Data classes and all I will tell you tomorrow. Any practical document today? Everything is theory explanation, right?
Theory, yeah.
So you need to go through this. Understanding this, you should be able to work on practical. Clipboard data classes page. Okay, in this data classes is still pending. I will tell you. As of now, you know, data classes will be non-inherited classes. Those are non-inherited. From the diagram, you can easily understand. That is a non-inherited class. We will continue tomorrow to discuss about data classes, and practically we'll see how to create screens by creating data classes, properties in data class, pages in transaction class, access the properties by using page into UI. So that and all will be discussed tomorrow for a practical. Yeah, I already told about this. Okay, you can wind up for today. Thank you for joining.